Good evening, good morrow, and good day, and welcome to another edition of Slice and Dice, here with the Manylands campaign, trying to get back on an even keel and a regular schedule, which has proved very difficult, as our last session 2 weeks ago was the first in 6 or 7 months, actually. But we're here, we're back to follow up from everything that happened last time, and of course to update you with new goings-on in the Manylands campaign and in real life as well. And of course, it's not just me, Jack, your DM and host this evening. Of course, I have the players with me as well. Good evening.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, is he talking to us?
Baby.
Hello. Guys, you were almost all synchronized with the wave, and that was mwah, chef's kiss. Like unintentional, but beautiful. Thank you for that. So as the more eagle-eyed and regular viewers will have noticed, we have a little gap in the middle of our display because we are missing two of our players this evening. Sadly, we're missing Angelique and Marshall. That's Leo and Brina, both of whom took a lot of hits and a lot of damage in the last encounter. So suitably, they're both going to be in the background of proceedings in tonight's session because they have been well and truly beaten up or risen or brought back from the brink in some cases. In both cases, Leo more so, but anyway.
They have been suitably punished for their transgressions.
They've been flogged.
It's
in
fine.
the
They've
corner
done nothing
for not
wrong.
being here.
They did nothing wrong.
Nothing at all. Okay, so before we get started proper today, as per usual, we've got some shameless plugs for you all, so here we go.
Shameless plug!
So, first of all, before we get underway tonight, those of you who are on our Discord will have already seen, and we talked about this in the last stream as well, that I'm trying to plan a live meetup so that you can come and play some games with us. And so I have been putting up, I put up a Discord type poll, getting people to vote on suitable dates for this meetup, for this live event. And the voting is now closed, and I can now reveal that our first ever live event playing TTRPGs round a table together, possibly two tables dependent on numbers, will be on the 29th, Saturday the 29th of April, from 12 p.m. until about 6 p.m. at the Victoria Inn in Peckham. That's all booked in, deposits paid. It's happening. So we had that was top of our voting tree, for lack of a better term, and so that's the date we're going forward with. The next thing is now deciding on what we're going to do on that day. Obviously, if you're watching now and would like to join us for this event, there are places available. All you've got to do is join our Discord group. There's a link to that on our Twitch stream. I think there's a link to that also on our YouTube channel if you're watching on Catch Up. And there's definitely a link to that if you're listening on podcasts. There's so many places where you can hear me prattle on. It's great. And our next thing is, now we have the venue, we have the time and the date. The next thing is to decide what we're going to play. So obviously, if you want to run a game of any kind of system, happy to hear from you and happy to make that happen, because I love playing. I love playing, probably arguably more so than DMing, but or GMing, depending on the system. And so the next thing, I'm now but I would be all for playing Tiddlywinks. If you want to play Tiddlywink, I mean, I'm happy to have a good half an hour of Tiddlywink fun. It's been many years, but I'll go for it.
If Marshall is watching this, allow me to provide an English to New Zealand translation. Tiddlywinks is what you're thinking of.
Brilliant.
Kill James.
You just killed James.
Yep. My work here is done.
Hello, Newsy CV, who's joined in the chat on Twitch as well. Hello, good evening. So yeah, I'm in case we don't have any people forthcoming for running a game of any kind at this live event, I'm happy to also run a game as well. And at the moment, I have put up a poll to vote on what system you would like to play. I have given 3 options: Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, which is what we play here on the channel, and one that we're oh so familiar with at this point, for better or for worse. Also, the other 2 options I have given are The Witcher, tabletop role-playing game, and GURPS. Those are the three systems that I feel like I possibly could run a game on.
Wow, D&D 5e, The Witcher, or extreme hard mode tabletop role playing. Jack, I salute you. Wow.
I must note that The Witcher, I think in some ways is similar to GURPS in that it's a bit more gritty realism in that you
Yeah.
can take a hit, you might die pretty early on, whereas
Yeah,
D&D gets a bit soft.
Newsy CV has been in the chat saying the least confusing, please. So that's GURPS ruled out. It's so complicated.
I think
Good. I've had a lot of good fun playing GURPS, but boy is it complicated.
Yeah, definitely. I think if it's going to be GURPS, it would be a stripped down version of GURPS because I haven't run a game, I haven't played a game of it. It's just one that I've been interested to try. Similar with the Witcher, but I've had a read through and I think what, I could probably run a one shot of that. I'll give it a go. Might be a bit grindy, but I'm sure we can make it work. Knowing Newsy CV personally, I can say that probably maybe not GURPS for you. But like I said, depending on the attendance, of course, we may well split into 2 tables, possibly more. But we've definitely got room enough comfortably for 2, at a push for 3 tables on the 29th of April. So look out for that. And if you can come, please notify us on our Discord. There is I've just put up a post telling you to give it a thumbs up if you can go, but I already have 6 confirmed from voting for dates. So there's going to be at least 6 of us. I'm hoping there'll be more. So please do vote away and let us know. So that was a very long but very necessary
shameless plug.
Next up on our shameless plugs, you may have spotted, or maybe not because my mic was obscuring the way, but this T-shirt I'm wearing right here is none other than from the Crafty collection, about the Crafty crew, our Kobold collection, which is available in our merch store. If you haven't checked out our merch store and would like to sort of give something back to the channel and get yourself some nerdy/funky merch at the same time, then check out our spring store, our merch store. There's a link to that also on our Twitch channel. Hendopolis should never have lent him that Witcher rules set. Yes, Hendopolis was I still have the book in my room here, and you are now paying the price, sir, because I may well be running The Witcher, which has taken an early lead on our voting. But as I said, please do get in touch and vote if you are going to be attending the live event. And yes, as I said, the merch store, we've got the Crafty collection. We have many more collections besides. Bart's very... Wait, is that Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay you've got there, Bart? Do you know what? I've played a session of that, and I was considering that too, but I no longer have the rulebook.
I might see if there's something I can do for you about that.
Well, by all means, Bart, if you want to, if you were able to attend the meetup, you could, of course, run a Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay game if you wanted to. The option is definitely there, and I would be all for that.
We shall see. We shall see.
Think of planning, plotting. Oh God, even more rule books on that shelf. Well, actually, it's mostly. To be fair, I don't have that many rule sets on my shelf. In fact, it's mostly D&D books on the shelf that I'm thinking of. I just, it's just we like to try new things, and particularly, I think, given everything that happened in January, I think everyone's keen to, take on this new renaissance period of role-playing games and break into new systems. I think Dan I saw Pathfinder. There, what was the other one you had in your hand there, Dan?
Starfinder as well.
Starfinder.
Come on.
I think I've played Starfinder, or was it Dark Star, or White Star? I'm not sure if that's the same system, but certainly like a space opera style RPG, right?
Starfinder is the sci-fi equivalent of Pathfinder. Which makes it basically the Paizo's answer to Spelljammer.
Hendopolis. I'll run a 5e Badlands adventure, which I know is Hendopolis's own setting, of which I have been a player for a while. I have very much enjoyed that. Only due to scheduling issues have I not been able to partake recently in that game. I'm hoping to get back to that once my shows and whatnot are out of the way. But actually, Hendopolis, you have brought me on to the final shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
which has now completely just dropped out of my mind. That's brilliant, isn't it? I must be getting old. You get to a certain point where you just hold a thought, walk into a room, and then go, why did I come in here? I can't remember. Well, there we go. That shameless plug is left open up in the air. It did lead on to something, and I had it, and it was on the tip of my tongue, and it has now completely disappeared.
What about homebrew? Something about things that people are running?
Yeah, it was something, and it's gone. I'll remember it during the session, and I will shout it out when that does happen. But for now, just placeholder. There will be another shameless plug at some point in tonight's stream, and it's just completely gone as to what it was for now. All right. Anyway, finally, let's open it up to the floor. Do we have any points of order, any shameless plugs or shameless pubs from the rest of you? Just looking in the chat. Okie dokie. Thank you, my friends. That was a very firm shake of the head from all four. Almost synchronized again, which is, you guys, it's impressive. It's really impressive. A cohesion that hopefully we shall see to a lesser or greater extent in tonight's session. So without any further ado, let's jump in and find out all that happened last time and what's going to happen next in our adventures in the Manylands campaign here on Slice and Dice. And we are back. So I still can't remember what that shameless plug is. It will happen. It will come to me at some point. But anyway, last time in the Manylands campaign, so our heroes, one of them was deceived. Leoberin, and to a lesser extent, Brucon, were deceived, for another ring was made. No, for it turns out that their temporary ally Dox was not in fact a dragonborn, but was a changeling whose name was actually Loralys, and she was looking into the assassination attempt against the king, because during that assassination attempt, her husband, the sort of head bodyguard, if you like, was slain inadvertently, along with the queen and the prince. And so it has been her resolute, solemn vow of mission to find the perpetrator and bring them to justice by any means necessary. And that any means necessary clause also includes making a pact with the Coven of Hags, which of course she didn't tell Leo and Brucon immediately, but did reveal this as she brought them to the cave, which Leo would have recognised from a dream he had had the previous night, where Etherel, the leader of the Coven, had visited him in the guise of a beautiful elven maid. As it turns out, the three hags who had appeared throughout our hero's adventures had a keen interest in Leoberin, teasing that it was his destiny to meet the three of them. When in fact what it was that he had something that they desired, and that was access to the Feywild, for that is where his power derives, and that's where the three hags originated from before they were banished from that plane forever. And so in order to try and get back to the Feywild and claim it for their own, they tried to strike a deal with Leobryn, but instead resorted to taking his power by force, or trying to at the very least. This effort was interrupted by the party, who managed to overcome a particularly troublesome magically enchanted rock formation type secret door to then halt proceedings. They had been Loralys had warned the coven just before the party had breached proceedings to be especially careful of the sorcerer, for she could probably kill all three of those hags should she choose to, talking about Neris. And so the hags, Etherel at the helm, promised more power to Loralys if she could slay this Neris herself. And so Loralys, it seems, accepted that deal, for during the ensuing battle she fired a few shots at Neris. I think one of them at least managed to hit and cause some damage, before Loralys then decided to turn on the hags, who themselves saw Loralys as collateral damage and were also doing some damage to her at the same time. In the ensuing fight, Leobryn and Brina in particular took a lot of damage. Leobryn, for a moment, was completely slain and bereft of life and struck from this world. Were it not for the intervention of Malar's healing magic, from the blessings of Festir, he would have surely would have been dead for good. But Malar managed to bring him back and heal up Brina as well, who also took a lot of damage from an errant lightning bolt. But aside from that, our fellows got to work. At one point, it looked like the group would flee, for they were low on resources, they were low on spell slots, and they were getting their butts handed to them. But the tide of battle changed, and our heroes were victorious, with Leobryn getting the final laugh against Etherel, the final remaining hag, by summoning a blight to dismember and destroy her. As the fight with the hags concluded, Neris then turned her attention to Loralys, summoning Cadence's graphite slate, a sort of floating graphite. I don't know what the best way is to put it. A rack. It's a rack, basically. That then strapped Loralys to, in a similar vein to sort of if you imagine the Han Solo frozen in carbonite floating along, or that sort of bar. It's those kind of vibes. Loralys has now been strapped to this slate by these magical tendrils, and it looks like, as Neris advances, saying, "I think you have some questions to answer," that an interrogation of some sort is about to ensue. Inside the cave, the rest of the party watch on as Neris advances. Brina and Leobryn are on their last legs, looking pretty dishevelled, and Brina just kind of flumps to the floor on her butt, just drops down to the floor and sits there, huffing and puffing. Leobryn, on the other hand, still standing, in a defiant, "I can do this all day" kind of look to his face, even though he's completely beaten up.
I could do this all day. I die repeatedly and be brought back.
Yes, on his 1 hit point, I think he is on currently. He's still like, "No, I'm going back in." I'm like, "You're on 1 hit point, dude." He's like, yeah, go back in. Everything's fine. I will be the hero, and gosh darn it, he was to an extent. All right. But anyway, the rest of you, Brucon, Seth, and Malar, are seeing this person now strapped to the table, which has gone by many names, but Cadence's graphite slate, and Neris advancing with the shadow blade in hand. What would you like to do?
I think first of all, Brucon will go over to Brina, and just sort of, I guess, bend down, but as Brucon is also not very tall, probably not bend down a huge amount, but kind of hand on the shoulder and just sort of go, "Brina, are you all right? How are you okay? How are you feeling?"
I'm okay. I'm just I'm tired. I think I need a break.
Yeah, I understand. That was quite some scrap. Well, you sit here and catch your breath. Don't worry too much about about anything else that's going on. Just focus on you. Look after yourself. Look after number one. But if you do need any help, do sing out, and I'm sure one of us will be along shortly. They're there, and Brucon gives her a little kind of like he intends it to be a kind of a light reassuring clap on the shoulder of a kind of well done. But Brucon's a chunky lad, and Brina is many things, but chunky is not one of those things. So I think probably Brucon slightly overdoes it, and as she kind of, it's that kind of like, well done, give person slap on back, and then they just kind of go, oh, jeez,
Collapse to the floor. Yeah.
Yeah, but then just to double check, so Dox is restrained outside of the chamber we're in, or in it? Are we all in the same place?
You're all in the same chamber, yes. So while Brucon is consoling Brina and checking in on her, Seth and Malar
Fucking her up.
Yes.
As opposed to another very similar sounding thing that a bunch of other people have recently been doing to her, but not that.
Excellent. Malar and Seth, what are you doing at this point?
So, does she currently look like a changeling or a dragonborn?
She hasn't changed form, I think, during this encounter. I think you've been a changeling. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jess.
We couldn't remember whether she was or wasn't, so we just kind of said that she was in the changeling form. So
she certainly had no
yeah,
reason to hide in the chamber. So
do we know this is Dox?
No, because Brucon did not communicate this to you with the comm rock while you were gone, because he was pretty high.
Because high as balls. Speaking of which, can I just double check? It's been a while in here in Meat Space. Brucon's still high. I feel like I remember him sobering up a bit when the shit was starting to hit the fan. Not like all the way sober, but
he was focused enough for the combat. The adrenaline rush, sort of made him temporarily forget his highness. But cool. If you like, you can make a Constitution check.
Oh yeah, I should love that. No, actually, that would be fun. Okay, Constitution check or saving throw. I don't think it actually matters.
This will be a check. Yeah.
Yeah, to be fair, they would be the same. So here we go. That is a 7.
Yep. Once the blood starts to cool inside.
Yeah. Okay. So Brucon is holding it together to reassure Brina, and then as he does the kind of like bump, the shoulder, the shoulder grab pat. He sort of goes, oh, there we go again, and just turns and starts kind of looking at the walls and sort of going, splendid.
Great. So yeah,
we'll respond to external stimuli, but probably not going to be great at kind of keeping up with current events.
The focus is not really there currently.
Yeah.
Yes, not a problem. So Seth and Malar, this individual in front of you who's now strapped to the table, I don't think has spoken out much herself about her identity, and I'm not sure in the thick of battle that anyone else has thought to. But I will allow you both to make insight checks because there may be clues as to the identity of this individual.
Come on, fail. Come on. Oh, I succeeded. 18 plus whatever my insight is. I should really pull out my character sheet.
I mean, you don't know if you succeeded, right?
23.
You don't know what the DC for that was.
Sorry, how much was that, Malar?
I mean, 8.
23.
23, and sorry, Seth?
8. I've got an 18 on the dice, and I forgot to look up my character sheet, so I'm just pulling it up.
I think 18 will be sufficient on its
plus
own.
Plus my amazing insight, that is an 18 in total.
I knew it was a 0.
Yep.
Okay, so 18 is enough, fortunately, that you would recognise that she's wearing the same clothes as Dox was. Okay, a much more slight figure than the Dragonborn, it was a bit beefier. But also the magical cloak that seems to shift when you try and look at it. It seems to shift in tones, so it's harder to lock eyes with. I guess Seth would probably recognise it as a cloak of elven kind. So you recognise that, and Dox was wearing that along with the heavy crossbow which was at her back and now, well, was in her hand until she got strapped to a table.
I guess. Go on, James.
You look like you've lost a couple pounds. Why are you not a Dragonborn anymore?
And why did you shoot me? Neris says, bitterly pulling out a bolt.
I shot at you because you shot at
importantly,
me, and I distinctly remember saying that I wasn't the problem, so don't fire things out when,
Oh,
you started
no.
You had Leo
No.
tied up on a table.
I didn't do that.
Oh, now I think cooler heads need to prevail. Let's just calm down. Now, I presume Dox smells the same, right? I mean, I presume in this form
I
she
don't know
smells
how that
exactly-
works.
I'm gonna make an executive decision here in terms of the law the lore of this world
scent.
and of how changelings work. So I don't know what the official line is in terms of like any books, but I would say that changelings smell the same when they change form because they are still changelings underneath whatever they are
Yeah.
for.
Yeah,
I think he's
the
going to
same.
have to check. We should make him check.
I've just checked. To be fair, what it says in the descriptions for Changeling is that they can use their action to polymorph into a medium humanoid it has seen or back into its true form.
So, there might
So-
be, so you're saying
Wow.
that like there could be different smells if you transform
It's
into like
theoretically possible, like with polymorph. It's I think really basically it's up to you, Jack.
I'm going to say
But
that
there is an
they're-
argument that changelings can actually alter their scent as well.
I'm gonna say for the purposes of this that whilst there may be some subtle differences between forms, or subtler different, less subtle depending on what form you were to take, I guess, but there will be some similarities still as well. But with a 23 insight, Mala, I think you're fairly confident of who this is anyway.
Do you have our scents memorized to check?
Oh, now, well, Mr. Seth, some scents are easier to determine than others. You're
Yes,
quite
we've
a
all
sorry
agreed we can
beast
smell
yourself.
Brucon, but we.
Yeah,
That's-
this raises
that's
the question of whether Brucon has given Malar a contact high at some point.
I'm just imagining like a scratch scent book which Mala keeps.
Seth,
Like his Rolodex is a scratch and sniff. Amazing.
He just turns to like the page for Seth, and it's just a bit of seaweed. Turns to Neris, it's just some burnt wood.
yeah, not wrong.
Turns to
Sorry, I think we
no.
completely got off side
No,
for that.
that's-
Sorry, go ahead.
Let's let all our better selves prevail now. Oh, now, Miss Neris, I maybe just take a step back and it is still Dox, isn't it? And Malar pokes her in the shoulder or whatever. Oh, now you're gonna have to explain why we came into a room with you, three hags, and Mr. Leobrin sprawled at your feet. What's this all about? Who are you really?
My name's Loralys. I'm a changeling.
And
in shock.
hags?
One of them was my patron when I asked them to help me get revenge on my husband's killer.
Why should we
Who's
listen to
your
a word
husband's
she
killer?
says?
I mean-
She doesn't even show her true form to us. I can't. And then Neris turns around and storms out the room. Her PTSD about doppelgangers really flaring up at this point.
Seth, you'll have to excuse her. She was
Now,
recently
looks-
kidnapped and copied.
Ah,
So why did you not just? How did you? Are you still in league with this patron of yours, or just? Why Mr. Leobrin? Was he part of some deal? Or you should answer me, Miss or Mister or? Oh goodness, do changelings have gender? Do they? Oh my! Oh.
It depends on the changeling. I prefer to show myself as female.
Oh, okay. Mr. Leobrin, then? What was your deal there?
Yes. I recall some of it. Leobrin sort of dusts himself off because he obviously wants his clothes to look immaculate, as per usual. Those ladies were they wanted what I have. Something about they want to go to the Feywild. I don't quite know how Loralys enters into it, though.
I don't know what they wanted with you necessarily. I know that if I gave you to them, they'd give me more power to find the killer. And I don't know you people. So one person's life or my husband's killer's life wasn't really much of a sacrifice to me. I don't know you.
That is a fair point. We've known her, what, 7 months? No, 2 days?
Leobrin just shrugs and goes, "Yep, seems to check out."
Leave the fourth wall alone, James.
No.
It's his friend.
But if they were the ones that granted you the powers, then what happens now that they're...
Don't know.
But don't take this personally. We're not going to let you out so that you can try. Just yet.
Oh, agreed, Mr. Seth. Agreed.
But
Indeed, as previously noted, what is one life measured against the greater good? Especially that being a stranger such as you are, Ms. Dox.
I think I know this one. It's 7.
Okay. I can't even snap him out of it. I don't have the spell slots.
Brina's just like kind of just tugs Brucon's beard a little bit, like, well, more strokes the beard. Like, no, no. Brucon, come here. It's okay. Just sit down.
Yes, I'll sit down.
Good answer, Brucon.
Yes.
You remember that next time we're in a fight with 8 people.
Basically, for the bulk of the rest of the interaction that you guys are having, away in the distance is Brina and Brucon are kind of trying to, like, Brina's trying to get Brucon to sort of return to, the conscious realm.
Yes, she brings out
just
alchemy jug.
A little distance away, there's a funny background event happening.
She brings out the alchemy jug and she's mutters the word to get fresh water to start decanting from it.
Oh no, quadruple espresso, I think you'll find.
I mean, I was looking and it's not on the list.
No,
I was thinking
brutal.
that.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Something to kind of water's not going to do jack shit. But anyway, yeah. Funny background event as Brina tries various different concoctions that she's able to get out of the thing, pours them to Brucon. He reacts in various amusing ways. Please continue.
I love it.
That's when he finds out his hangover cure is mayonnaise.
Oh, why not?
I mean,
Slamming mayonnaise into
it'll
his
flush.
face. It's all over the
Oh.
beard. But anyway, yes, this comedic set of events is happening as Brina is desperately trying different liquids and mayonnaise and honey from the alchemy jug in a desperate attempt to try and sober up Brucon as the interrogation continues.
So, we're at a bit of an impasse now. You've kidnapped Leo.
Mm-hmm.
We've killed everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
You're not dead.
No, but my patron is, and I helped kill her.
Did you? Wait, sorry, I can't remember.
Yes.
Yeah, she did.
Well, Leo got the last hit in on the last hag, but Loralys took part and destroyed one of the minions.
Did she start? Did she obviously change sides when they were losing?
No.
Okay.
No, she was very subtle because she didn't want to be seen to be to be betraying her patrons. She was very careful.
Now, if you were in our situation,
Never kill your Patreon.
what would you let you out?
I guess I wouldn't know.
I turn to Mala. What do we do? I'm not used to survivors.
Well, if I may, and Leobrin with his 1 hit point staggers over to the table. Yes, this person. Sorry, what? Which pronouns do you use?
She, they,
Okay.
primarily she.
She, they, primarily. Okay. Well, she did betray us, and yes, she has no loyalty to us. Her loyalty, it seems, is to this. Was it your husband? You said, and
Yes.
finding his killer, who presumably is the same person we're looking for.
I think he's the prince.
The
well,
one
the
we
prince
just
did summon
fought.
a demon, which is not normal.
Why do you think it's the prince?
He was only the one member of the royal family who wasn't poisoned,
Apart from the king.
apart from the king.
Wait, how did your husband die?
Yeah, how was your husband associated with the royal family?
He was the king's protector, and he was there.
So he died with the king's family.
Boy, this doesn't get easier, does it?
No, the
Give
one
us
that
give
she
us one sec.
The one that she
Just-
betrayed us for are now dead. So I'm not sure where that leaves her. I mean,
Excuse us 1 minute, and I'm gonna take Leo Mala and just do a little sidebar away from our prisoner.
okay.
So, if we let her out, they're dead. But she did kidnap Leo. Leo, you're the victim. What do you say?
This is so awkward
She's
because
your
Marshall isn't
kidnapper.
here, and I
Yes,
he
make
wasn't in chat
character-defining
earlier.
choices, Jack. Make character-defining choices that will affect Marshall forever.
You
Do it
can't
now,
put this
under
on me.
pressure.
That's not fair.
Oh, now that Mr. Seth, we have an option here. The slate will retain Dox as long as she's in there. Why don't we go and sit down with the king and discuss this as a possibility?
I don't know about you, but taking someone chained to a table through a city has never worked out well.
No, Mr. Seth.
And the explanation of we're taking her to the king doesn't help the situation.
Mr. Seth, we'll just reorient the slate so it's flat. We'll put a tablecloth over it and put some food on top, and it'll be like we're just a moving buffet. To
And
the
we're
king.
taking our moving buffet on the road to the king from halfway across the city.
We are, Mr. Seth. We are the pit champions. People will just acknowledge it as an eccentricity.
And you want us to take her to the king and tell him that she wants to kill his brother.
It's another piece of the puzzle, Mr. Seth, and it's been 7 months, and I've forgotten.
It's a piece
Where we
to
were
a
with this
different
Can
puzzle.
I
puzzle.
hear this? Can I hear this?
I mean, I think make a perception check.
Oh yeah,
I think.
Okay.
we side huddled, but not very well. We're like next.
Malos
we're like
huge.
15?
Yeah, we're like a foot away from the table, and we're getting louder.
The chat's been lighting up after hashtag What Would Leo Do, with Hendopolis being very much vehemently don't let her out. Newsy CV being moving buffet. Why the heck not? And Marshall, as in the player of Leo, has said pitch for release hashtag freedom. I would and an extra to
I don't
that.
think Marshall knows what Leo would do. No,
Yeah.
that doesn't sound like a Leo thing.
I also rolled the dice on an insight check, and hashtag and I rolled a natural 20 on insight, so I got 23. So given this discussion, Leo's contribution at this point would be, well, her goal, it seems, aligns with ours. But their goal aligns with ours. Sorry, their goal aligns with ours, in that they're looking for the same killer as we, but I guess they have, in a sense, been betrayed by their patrons in the same way as she betrayed us. So, you know, there's I don't think whilst her actions may have been hostile towards us, I don't sense that she is necessarily a bad person. Up until this point, she has been cooperative with us.
She has helped with the investigation, considering that we're really shit at investigating stuff.
Very good
Okay.
point by Marshall. Remember
Okay.
that Leo was doing fetch quests for creepy old ladies. So he may not be the best
Is
judge of
everyone
character.
in the Feywilds working for creepy old ladies?
It's a good question.
Very good question.
Now I have a solution to this, and using one of my 4th level spell slots, I'll cast Zone of Truth on the area within that holds Dox.
Oh, damn it. Brina forgot the wand. Anyway, it's fine. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah,
A quick question.
Zone
Sorry,
of Truth.
just a super quick question. So first of all, note, I feel like you know, funny background events include, you know, Brucon breathing fire at one point while being given this stuff. You know, all kinds of, you know, Brucon's going through it right now. But I was wondering, Jack, if you would be willing to stipulate that the assistance of Brina and the I forget what it's called, but the
alchemy jug. Yes.
the alchemy jug, would that be enough for a second go at a Constitution check, possibly with advantage?
Yes, I will allow that.
Cool. Okay, there we go. We got the worst roll was a dirty 20, and the better roll was a 22.
Nice. Okay, yeah, so as this conversation continues, I'd say that the effects start to wear off for Brucon.
Yeah.
So yes, you can actually
and he
join in
will
this conversation as you are actually
he will
here.
saunter up to the zone, the truth zone, the truth hole.
The truth hole. Okay, so if you can either willingly fail the save for Zone of Truth, or you can try and
No, willingly failing it.
and for
sure.
I think most importantly, Loralys, are you going to try and resist the effects of the Zone of Truth, or are you going to let yourself?
I want to have some privacy. She's going to want some privacy. Good God.
So yeah, I want to resist.
Yes.
So what is the save that she needs to make, Malvar?
It's a charisma saving throw, isn't it?
It is.
Suspect that was wisdom, isn't
Zone. It is. It's charisma DC 16.
Dirty 20.
Okay, so for the time being, she resists the effects.
But would they know that?
I think they know if you fail.
Yeah.
So. But yes. So sorry. You cast the spell. You're aware of the rest of the party willingly succumbing to the effects of Zone of Truth. Brina goes, "Oh, thank goodness he's finally sobered up, and I just need a sleep so bad." Oh, sorry.
Brina, it's that as accidental disclosures go, that you're fine. Yeah, I'm glad I'm sober too, mostly anyway.
Thank you.
Dox, Alice, whatever. Did you have any proof that it was the king's brother?
Table edge, can't remember.
I don't remember
Um,
any of the things. I remember we've crossed off one person out of 6. Look, there's also the point that if we also just assaulted the king's brother. So if we don't have any proof, and we go back there with her, we're fucked
In
in
all
general.
honesty, I've assaulted him before in front of the king. So,
Oh.
As you or as a Dragonborn, or as someone else.
in a Dragonborn's body.
So he doesn't know it was you.
He doesn't know I'm a changeling. Nobody does. The only person who did was my husband.
Okay, so currently as a changeling, you're actually surprisingly the most innocent compared to them because we're all known now for assaulting a king. You're still good.
Well,
So I
I'm
feel like
a prince, to be fair.
Prince, sorry.
Not it's and it's hard to know how big of a problem that is. You know, not some royal families don't get on so well. So yeah, I mean, you're right to be cautious, Seth, but we shouldn't be too pessimistic here. With it's entirely possible that, I mean, if we can make a reasonable case to King Zarnak, that you know, we don't necessarily need the prince to be fully guilty. We just need to be able to make the case that we had good reason to believe he was guilty. I appreciate the irony of my saying this while I'm in a zone of truth, but it is nevertheless true. So besides the suggestive fact that the prince was not poisoned, and but for the king, everyone else in his family was. Loralys, have you been able to identify anything? Are you aware of any other suspicious things that the prince has been up to? Have you found anything?
At this point,
Can't remember.
enough time has passed that I think Loralys should make another charisma save for Zone of Truth.
Yeah.
Apparently we've gone from investigating crimes to committing them against royalty.
In fairness, we
So-
definitely started. In fairness, we definitely started with committing crimes. Then we went to investigating an assassination plot.
Yes.
Then back to crimes, and then
Slippery
If
slope.
I don't even know where we're at now. Sorry.
If anything, it's their fault for asking people that were on trial the day before to investigate national crimes.
All right. So how did you do on the charisma save, Loralys?
8.
8. So now fails the save, and so you can now not knowingly lie.
Yes.
So the question, in brief, sorry, Bart, was what other evidence was it that
Yeah,
that she has?
did Loralys find any other leads? And Jess's very reasonable answer was,
It's been a long time. I'm not entirely sure.
it's been a while.
It has indeed been a while. Feel free to jump in, Jess, if you recall or find anything. But I can certainly draw on some old some grey matter. So to be fair, Loralys, you would. It was
It had
your
something to do with kobolds and things like that, and the Cobalt War, right?
Oh yeah, the little kobolds. We were killing them. I forgot about that.
the Kobold Kingdom and all that. I think there might be some links in there.
And
I don't.
And the beholder
recall
that we're pretty
necessarily.
confident is down there.
Jack, we're in a zone of truth. So just
Yeah, that's definitely how that works.
just dump the
Hey,
law
Jack,
on us.
Jack,
please.
just out of curiosity, what exactly lies underneath the kingdom of Retier right now?
just between us. Just between us, in the zone of truth.
I mean, well, I'm not in the zone of truth, so that I'm not compelled to tell the truth. So I don't. Need to
God's
do this.
everywhere. He's in the zone of truth.
Okay, so just looking at your backstory, Dox, because we did pencil some of this in.
That's the face of someone who remembers her backstory.
It's
So basically, the official line was that it was an assassin working for the Burican Republic, but you were a member of the Enforcers at that time, the secret police in the Dragonborn Kingdom. You kind of went against the party line, as it were, because you didn't believe that it was them, and so you conducted your investigation, and you in fact got kicked out of the enforcers because your investigation led to the prince, and you assaulted him quite publicly, and so you were stripped of your rank and was told never to enter the castle walls again. And then a year or so went by. In that time, you did your deal with the hags, with Etherel, and then they gave you extra powers to help with your investigation. But it had been difficult for you to proceed because you couldn't get close to the prince until this lot came along. From what I can see here, there's nothing tangible.
No evidence then.
There must have been. There would have been something that would have led you to the prince. So I'm just double checking so I don't contradict myself.
That sounds all right. I just don't think I had anything specific. Here's a piece of paper that said he did it.
Yeah, there was no Exhibit A.
Yeah, you had a theory. Although as there was not really much in terms of hard evidence, it was kind of dismissed. But obviously with everyone else out of the way, with the prince out of the way, and the king out of the way, and the queen out of the way, then the king's brother-in-law, because let's not forget that the prince, this prince is the queen's brother, the late queen's brother, so he's not actually related to the king by blood.
That's like less of a crime. This is good for us.
Then
They're just pure id at all times. Just like, what does this mean for me?
Yeah.
What are the implications here about my needs?
We just assaulted royalty.
I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just admiring the consistency.
You see, the prince is a member of Clan Oryxdoon, who are a clan of gold dragonborns, and they are
related to Bidrekt Oryxdoon.
Yes, correct. Bidrekt is the prince. Bidrekt Oryxdoon. Yes.
Sorry. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. He is the prince. That's his name. Thank you. That is his prince. Thank you, note taker. Whereas the king, King Zarndak, is the last surviving member of Clan Zarn. His only heir was the prince, who died in his son, the young prince, who was
a different
killed in
prince.
the assassination. Yes, the boy prince who was killed in the assassination attempt, and the queen died. So he is the last of his line. So once the king dies, it is Bidrekt Oryxdoon's crown for the taking. So he has the most to gain by this event taking place. Whether I think in Dox's mind, Loralys's mind, the question is, was the assassination meant for the king at all, or was it in fact just to take out the entire royal family? Because if this was, if you're dealing with if this Bidrekt is callous enough to kill his own sister and his own nephew and his brother-in-law for the crown, then he wouldn't hesitate to kill the brother-in-law as well. So, and equally, is he powerful enough to do so alone? Does he? He has the money, because the gold sector is the richest of all in the city. So he has the means. He possibly has the motive. But I think the opportunity is also the thing that's eluding, and that was the bit of evidence that really underpinned what was needed for your theory to have any ground, to have any weight, and that's what. And obviously, going against such a high-profile character was not in the best interests of the enforcers, who report directly to the king. So there was a big political problem with going after the prince. But you, as the Maverick Renegade, did not want to do that, because I wanted justice. I'm following the evidence. I'm following the facts, guys.
And if nobody listened to me, I'll just do it myself. And that's what she did. And then she got in trouble.
Damn it, Dox, you're a loose cannon. I'm going to need your gun and your badge.
Basically, that is it. Basically, kind of, in so many words, is kind of what happened with Dox.
Sorry, your hand crossbow and your badge.
Hendopolis is adjourning to the pub. Thank you for joining us. And yes, Zone of Truth for the day job would be fantastic. I think a lot of us could benefit from that.
Is there going to be supernatural violence soon? Asking for a friend. That's, again, that absolutely going on my business cards. Cool. Okay.
But yeah, sorry, that was a bit of a waffly lore dump there.
That was a
but,
very helpful info dump. That was great.
I mean, it's up to you how much of that information Loralys will share. Obviously, you can't lie about it, but you know, broad strokes or whatever. Over to you. There's the information.
Yeah,
have fun. Go play.
That's what she said.
Yeah. It seems logical to share that. Cool. Okay. I think Brucon sort of turns and says, looks at Loralys, and eyes slightly hooded still by he's starting to sober up, but isn't necessarily all the way there. So he looks 2.5 feet or so to the right of where Loralys is, and says, "Thank you, Loralys. This was very helpful." And then sort of turns to where Loralys is and says, "And thank you as well. That was very helpful too." And then turns to the others, but overturns. So kind of again, sort of 90 degrees to where everyone is actually standing, and very sincerely addresses them and says, "Right. Well, I'd say this has been a fine day's work. My suggestion is that those of us who have had a bit of a beating go and rest up. But it seems to me we should we've got a promising lead here, and we should probably try and chase it down or corroborate it as quickly as possible. One possibility is that we have a couple of leads alongside this very promising. Oh, you're over there. Sorry. And then he turns back and looks at the rest of where the rest of the group actually are, and says, "I wonder if maybe we could approach either the head of information. Raya Mimbixdel is the name of the head of information from the Green Sector. I don't remember if we've had an encounter with them. I don't think we have, other than when in the kind of the throne room when all of the big muckety mucks were around.
You did go to the Green Sector, to the pub.
We went to the Green Sector, but we haven't.
Yeah.
But we haven't spoken to Imbixtil themselves, have we?
Only on the sort of herald, when the pit champions were heralded and marched through the city. Only then.
Oh yeah, okay. But the other thing that I and Brucon particularly remember, back into character, or the other possibility is I was approached by there's definitely something going on around the head of the cultural head, Dudra Denish. I believe that they are the individual. I'm right, Jack, in remembering, by the way, Denish uses they them pronouns. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, cool. Brucon's there's definitely something going on with Dudra Denish. They're something about their boat. They have a big pleasure yacht in the bay, as I recall, and something going on there. And I've got, I think, a sort of standing invitation. So I wonder if maybe I should head over there and see what's what, and see what they have to say about relations between Oryxdoon and the king. See if that overturns anything, and maybe I can find out a little more about other gossip in the city. How does that sound to everybody?
Before everyone moves, just show of hands, who's not fucked?
Leo raises his hand.
I can't.
Yeah. Loralys is like.
Yeah, Loralys is still strapped to the thing.
Brucon, how many fingers am I holding up?
Oh, at least 2.
That's technically not wrong.
Perhaps we could take a moment's respite, perhaps for an hour, just for everyone to patch themselves up.
Yeah, short rest sounds
some
pretty
of us
good.
Perhaps some of us to sober up.
So, my thought is, it's gotten quite late. We've been attacking princes and hags all day. I say we call it a fucking day. Call it a day. Stay here. It's a fucking secret lair. We should be safe. If we go to town if we go into the city tomorrow, the prince has either done one of two things. He's either fucked off because he's guilty, or he's gone to the king and told him he's been assaulted, which would make him a little more innocent looking if he's actually gone and told him that people have assaulted him for potentially murdering his family.
I mean, I don't think he would say that. I think he'd just say he's been attacked. I see what you're saying, Seth, but I I'm up for. I'm certainly not expecting everyone to come with me, but I'm up for trying to gather a bit more information before the prince has a chance to, really lock in his narrative around his own justification and innocence. But no, other people don't have to come with me if they need a more extended rest. I should note at this point that Brucon is staring directly at the floor while he says all of that.
Are we still in Zone of Truth?
Yeah.
Is Seth in Zone of Truth?
Yeah.
What's going on with your eyes?
Oh, I do know that. You told me when I came downstairs. I don't know. I just woke up with them. I think it's from the sword. I can see better in the dark. Supervision.
I
have
don't like
supervision.
that sword. Brina says.
It is a great.
fearfully.
It is a great. What? Don't team up with the prisoner.
Malar will grab Seth's head.
Malar will fucking try
He's
again.
too
Stop
big.
doing
And
that.
just like open his eyes, like, oh, now what's this all about?
Wow.
They're my fucking eyes. You're not the high one. What are you doing?
Mr. Seth.
Personal space, Malak.
Reminiscent of.
You're listening
Stanley
to the
Kubrick,
prisoner.
Clockwork Orange.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you resisting, Seth?
Yes.
I think
He's
this is
fucking
contested. This is a
massive.
contested grapple check, I think.
I'll put him down.
Okay. Okay. But yes,
roughly-
he's
by
got
the way,
red
Jack-
eyes.
Jack, roughly what sort of time of day are we on? Do we know? Do we have
you,
any-
you haven't been in the cave that long, to be fair. So,
Yeah.
you know that it's late afternoon. The sun was setting.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe a bit of the prudent thing to do is take a bit of a rest here. Wait until it's a little bit darker, so we're a bit less likely to be scrutinised as we go about our business, and then those of us who want to chase down a few more leads can do so, and the others can rest. Now, one last thing, Loralys. If you were released and if we demonstrated some trust in you, can we trust you to work with us and assist us as we try and achieve our goals, which would seem to intersect with yours?
You can trust me not to kill you, yes.
Or maim, materially harm, lead other people to maim or materially harm or kill?
I'll go for the last one.
Quick fire
So
question.
you're
yes or
leaving
no?
maiming on the table, I notice.
Or just if one of you attacks me, I'm not going to promise
Sorry,
to not maim you. And then you...
Unprovoked. Without provocation, do you promise not to cause us serious harm?
Yes.
Brucon turns to Malar a few degrees past Seth, but he's kind of dialing it in now, so it's not the fully off base, but just kind of looking at Seth's ear, or I guess at the corner of Seth's hat, and sort of says, "I mean, that's good enough for me." I'm assuming Leo's already on the side of let's free Loralys, so Brucon's not trying to persuade them. Neris has left. I
Neris
guess.
has moved into another chamber. I think
Yeah.
she's within earshot, but she's not participating.
Okie dokie. So yeah, Brucon turns. I mean, realistically, Brucon's focusing on Seth and says, "Is that good enough for you? I mean, it's as good a promise as you ever have got from any of us. I'll say that."
Sure.
Splendid.
All
right.
Brucon, and Brina sort of picks herself up off the floor and says, I don't think this. I don't think that who was previously known as Dox
Lorenzo.
Loralys, was it? I don't think that she would be foolish enough to betray us, while certainly amongst us. For 1 against 5 isn't going to go very well, especially now if her with no patrons to help her. Then she's not going to do very well against the 5 of us.
I know Leo's not the strongest, but you can
6
still
of us.
count him.
Sorry, 6. I forgot about Nera. She's not in the room. Sorry, 6 of us. 6 against 1. But also, if you wanted to continue if you wanted to look at the yacht, maybe we should try the dock sector. We just came through there, so they might know more about this Dudra's yacht.
Yeah, yeah, Bruno, you're absolutely right. That's excellent points all. Okay, well, I'm going to go fall over for a bit, and hopefully I'm feeling a little better in an hour or two. And Brucon just swivels on the spot, walks away, and just face plants onto the floor, and just starts having a bit of a power nap.
I'm gonna sleep now. Bye.
Yeah, literally.
I suppose we should let you out then. Neris, can you release your table of bondage?
That was one of the names for it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Neris, you hear an echoing huff from the next chamber. A few moments later, she appears in the cave entrance. Her eyes are glowing orange. It seems she's about to cast a spell of some variety, and then she summons a firebolt, not at Loralys though, against the wall near her, and she's imbued in flame, as seems to keep happening when she casts fiery spells. I don't like this. Fine, I'll release her, but I've just had enough for today. Okay, I'm gonna go back to my room. I'll see you there later. Okay?
Yeah, if she kidnaps, maims, or kills anyone, you have permission to kill her.
Fine. And she releases the graphite slate from Loralys, and then sort of looks about the group, nods, and then turns to Malar last and says, "Just look after everyone else, okay?"
Don't go anywhere by yourself. Don't wait for us. You have a habit of getting into trouble or burning people.
Nope, too late. I'm going. Bye.
No,
Oh,
shit.
Miss
No.
I'm going with her.
Wait,
and
Malar? What? What is it, Malar?
Oop, I'll burn my last 4th level spell to give her Death Ward.
That is generous indeed. The Death Ward. So she, for a moment, a golden glow replaces the flames around Neris, her smoking, smouldering outfit. Thank you. I'll see you later. And she, leaves the cave.
I'm gonna go with Neris because she has a habit of getting kidnapped and killed.
Okay, Seth, you can go with her. But she's
We'll
already
see you
stormed
back at
ahead,
the
so you
end.
have to run to catch up with her. But you can do that.
He's not that fast. I can catch up.
Okay. Stop following me, Seth.
No, you're gonna get kidnapped again.
No, I'm not.
We've literally been kidnapped today.
Nope. I'm just nope. I'm noping out of here. Nope. I'm done. I'm done for today.
I missed all of that. You cut out what I heard was the last part today.
She's noping out. She's not doing any more today.
Yeah, let's go back to the inn.
But without you.
I
Oh,
missed that.
is the day not over?
No, she's going. Leave me alone. I think is that right, Jack?
There is some definitely leave me alone vibes, but she's not going to stop you if you're following her.
Oh.
No. We're pretty much calling it a day. Most people are out of spells and such.
All right.
So I'll head back for
After a
rest.
short rest, Brucon is back at full fighting weight.
No one else has any spells.
No, but on a short rest, Leo would also be back up to full strength
This is also true.
and has good charisma. So I think that my intention was that Brucon and Leo go and lean on the social side, but Brucon might retaining the option of doing a bit of stealthy, sneaky stuff if needed. But rootling around about the yacht and possibly trying to arrange a conversation with Dudra Delish to see what their perspective on Oryx Dune is.
I was going to say that Brina could
After a short rest.
would short rest to get to use her arcane and recovery, but she's already used it, so she can't benefit from that. But she can get.
It's
her
been that kind of day.
We've been fucking people up all day. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's true. It is true. So the rest of you then, still in the cave, start getting yourselves ready to heal yourselves up, take some respite. Loralys, what are you doing?
So during this short rest period, she's this is the longest she's been in her natural form in like 8 years, 7 or 8 years. So she's just a little bit like, this is so weird. Like seeing her actual skin color is weird to her now.
Ooh, body dysmorphia in your own body. That's
Yeah. So she probably during that bit was just like looking at herself in her axe and just like not in like just like confused a little bit, and then she just like change her eyes every now and then to go back to Dox's eyes and trying to figure out which she prefers.
Okay.
And then she's gonna get out her little patron symbol and just have a little look at what's happened to her.
So she pulls out the coin that she keeps up inside her braces, tucked in there. And when you've grabbed this this talisman before, it's always felt quite weighty, even though it's by appearances is just a coin, just a trinket. But you've always felt not only the magical essence, but the gravity, the weight that comes with that. And now when you release it, when you pull it out, it just feels like a regular coin. In fact, a weight feels like it's been lifted from your entire being. It feels like you've lost something that you once had. With your patron being gone, your magical powers seem to have also dissipated for the time being.
Malar sidles up. Have you heard about the 8?
Can I interest you in gods?
To be fair, she was about to go, Mala, you're a collector of magical things.
Oh, well, I've only recently accrued these trinkets, but I suppose that's how it would appear. What appears to be the problem?
She's just gonna toss him a coin.
Toss a coin to your mallet.
Coin to your cleric.
Both of you detention now. Both of you in jail for 1,000 years. No.
No.
Oh,
Sorry,
you
go ahead.
bastards! It's already in my head. Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, I have no more use for that.
What is this coin you've thrown at me?
It was what bound me to my patron.
Gold coin, silver coin, brass coin? Is it one of these crazy brass dragon things that we've got to fucking convert to at the
Weirdly,
moment?
it's kind of more. It's like it was made out of clay.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. I will put that on my inventory. Thank you. Well, I thank you. Malar was like, okay, pocket.
So as Brina and Leobrin are patching themselves up for the most part, I think they're the ones in sorely need of some respite. And Loralys, you've coming to terms with the fact that you're. It seems that in mechanical terms, you're a warlock without any warlock powers because they've been stripped from you as you've broken your contract and killed your patron. Them's the breaks. But as Brucon is sleeping off the remaining effects of his stupefied nature.
It was Nation's favourite, right? It was
Nation's favourite, yes. The blunt of Nation's favourites. The narcotic effect.
Yeah.
And Malar,
Sticking his
actually,
gun
Malar's
up my- yeah.
Malar. What is Malar doing during this time? Because he's not injured so much.
No, he's definitely rested up, but he's probably just spending some quiet time in prayer, considering what he's heard, and just praying to the Eight for guidance.
Would you like to make a religion check, Malar?
Oh, yes, I would. No, we'll use you. You're better. Religion. Yeah, all right. 9. I'm going to use my inspiration because I've got it and we hardly ever use it. So
All right,
I'm going to re-roll that.
I will allow it.
8.
Oh no, well, that's worse. It seems that this location you're in, your connection to the gods feels thin. This feels like an accursed place and one that you should not spend more time in than absolutely necessary. But it does feel like that one of the heavy presences, the more sort of demonic or otherwise unholy presences, seem to have left along with Seth. Or at least something that Seth carries with him. Maybe not Seth himself. It's hard to tell.
Oh, good. We're back to that. Oh, it's like session 6 all over again.
It could be.
Noted. Noted.
But there still seems to be something malicious in the presence in this.
Malignant
place.
works.
Malignant probably works. Yeah. Okay. But malicious, I think, was the word. Either way, it's all in the maligs. Something maligned, something bad in the air. Loralys, you hear as you're contemplating this new feeling, this sort of almost void that you've been that's now in place of where once was this spiritual magical essence about your being. It reminds you of before you malignment error, says Marshall in the chat. Thank you. It reminds you of a simpler time when Balval was still alive. Balval, sorry, your husband was still alive, and you were living happily in the Dragonborn Kingdom, your new home from your long travels from the Forgotten Lands. And just as you're sort of having this moment of reverie, it starts to be replaced by another presence that seems to start whispering to you. And I'm trying to find the correct sound effect for it. For some reason, it's not here. Not that you can hear it, but for the viewers at home, it's very important. This particular sound. All right. A voice. A very deep voice reaches out to you from who knows where. Things have spoken in your head before. Etherel certainly did. But with Etherel, there was at least an image. It wasn't just a voice. It's just a voice in the void. Hello, Loralys. I have observed what has been happening to yourself and those around you. I was once an important part of one of the travellers you now find yourself with, but I've been shut away from them, so I offer my powers to you. If you were to take them, restore what you have lost. I'm sorry, it cut out, I didn't hear you.
Who are you?
I go by many names. Some have known me as Chichikabaglia, amongst others.
Mm-hmm. And what does this party know you as?
Simply those who know me, and there is only one who knows me intimately, the one you call Seth, has known me mostly as the Voice. But Seth is the kind who names things as he sees them. He named a horse Horsey. and he knows me as the voice. Take from that what you will. James, you shouldn't be muted because I really want to hear what you're saying.
He's moaning in Discord.
Brilliant. Sorry, back in the room.
Thank you, but no thank you.
And you're certain of this?
I don't want to owe anyone else.
I would not ask you to hurt anyone. Not yet, at least.
No, I don't want to owe you anything.
Well, I shan't force you to do so, of course. You can go back to being a powerless changeling in a very mixed-up world. And when your when those powers that you had are needed, think of me. My offer stands open. And with that, the voice speaks no more, and that a heavy presence that you felt encroaching on you disappears. So, mechanically speaking, you have no spells.
Mm-hmm.
You have no warlock features.
Yep.
So, I'm not sure what you are, mechanically speaking, at this stage.
A martially trained individual.
Martially trained. You could indeed be changed to a fighter, but we can resolve this outside of the session of how you'd like to proceed.
Yep.
Your warlock powers are all but gone at this stage. But the rest of that hour resting goes by without incident. And Malar, you that heavy presence you felt by the end of that hour also seemed to have disappeared during that rest. It just dissipated into the atmosphere, and whatever heavy presence there was no longer seems to exist. During this time, though, those of you resting inside the cave will have noticed that there are a couple of trinkets around this place. Now, the hags did have a few possessions, sort of macabre symbols and decorations like entrails, feathers, bones, things like that, dangling from the ceiling, or arranged, it seems to be in some sort of ritualistic manner, although it's very hard to discern what that ritual is, but something clearly otherworldly and quite macabre and gross. But in addition to that, there is where Etheral's remains are, there is a desk with a large tome on it. Hard to discern from looking at it what material the tome is made out of, and you probably don't want to know what the tome is made out of. Its cover anyway, its binding, probably don't want to know that. But there's that. There is also a chest in the corner as well.
Seth's run off, hasn't he?
Seth has run off, and I should say, I should probably go to Seth and
Seth
Neris.
has gone to protect Neris in a city where we could be wanted criminals for assaulting the prince.
Yes.
We're the pit champions. What are you talking about? We're great. We're gravy.
We just literally broke into a prince's house, fucked everyone up, and then fucked off.
And Seth,
It's a dinner party.
As you and Neris are making.
I mean, it would have been a breakfast party, surely. Brunch. We fucked up brunch.
You fucked up brunch.
We absolutely
You went for
ruined
lunch.
brunch.
We're even more of a monster. Brunch is great. Why did we fuck it up?
You attacked somebody in the middle of in broad
Rattled
daylight.
damage.
Actually, it was lunchtime, and I think it was early evening, if I recall, because Seth camped out there upstairs under a bed for a few hours. I seem to remember. Which is quite novel.
I remember that.
Yeah.
But so Seth, you're kind of reeling, contemplating everything that's happened, and being a bit worried, as you have expressed, the anxiety of being caught. As the two of you make your way through the dock sector, you see Johnny, who offered you a blunt earlier, before you got onto the trail of Brucon's Puff, the lizard folk, who just nods to you. And the two of you well, Neris anyway, breezes past and goes through the gates, signs in with the guards, and heads straight into the bronze sector and back to the tavern, to Bronze Allergy, to go to her room. The innkeeper, who a surly dragonborn, you may remember, a man of few words, just says drink, and Daenerys pauses from her striding towards the stairs, turns around, and just nods and goes to the bar. And she just gives a cursory glance to you to see if you're going to join or not.
Yeah, I'll join. Make it a double. Fuck it, just keep it coming.
So you guys are going to drink away the next the next sort of hour. I'll still count it as a short rest, but you'll need to deduct.
Yes.
I think. But Seth, drinks are on you. Neris isn't going to pay. So if you could deduct a couple of gold pieces, yeah, for drinks as you go through quite a few drinks.
Now is usually the time where we pause to do some forex transactions, working out the current rate of exchange.
Yeah,
but I think we have some Jade Dragons now.
Yes, so
I've got Jade Dragons.
So yes, it'd be less than a Jade Dragon. Jade Dragons are quite a bit, I think.
Fuck it, I put 5 Jade Dragons on the table. Keep
Jesus
it coming.
Christ. Okay, you've got you've got free. You've got drinks for the rest of the day. Yeah.
That's how you solve maths of gold.
Amazing. That's how we. That's the foreign exchange rate for you. Just throw some Jade Dragons on there. Done.
Multiples of 5.
Yeah.
You have so much money. You might as well spend some of it. Is this enough? Yep. We'll take that. But as you during your drinks, and it probably hastens you to drink more. Actually, you do hear a voice, the feminine voice that has been talking to you since the voice was removed, seemingly whispering to you from the blade. But in your head, fortunately, it's not something that Neris would pick up on. But you just hear, "Yes, my champion. I am sated for now. So much blood. My thanks."
You're welcome. How much is enough?
Are we ever truly full, or are we full temporarily and then start to eat again when we are hungry?
Yep. Great.
You have heard of an hourglass.
DK, stop
have you
looking
not?
like that. DK, stop looking at me. I can see it. I can see it through the fucking screen. He's up on such a high horse right now.
I am sated for the moment, Seth. That is all you need to know. But the hunger will return.
I think I've just, thanks to the Legend of Vox Machina, I think I've just clocked something. I'll say no more for now.
Well, yep, possibly. There may be some overlap, admittedly accidentally, but yes, possibly.
Sure. Yeah, I want to be clear. Not having in no way calling out or anything. Love it. I just kind of suddenly went, wait a moment. I know how this one goes.
Why give me cool swords that are linked to fucking evil people?
Yeah. I mean, you chose to take it.
It's
right there. Scimitar of speed, please. Anyway, but that is all over the hour.
Keep drinking this away.
So at the end of the hour, then you guys have all taken a short rest. And then what was it that you wished to do? Seth and Neris, you notice it's now dark.
Back?
I'm sorry.
So I was just saying, are the rest of them back?
No, they've been resting for that hour. So let's go back to the cave and see what's going on there.
Yeah. So Brucon sort of rouses himself and combs his beard, sees to himself, goes and splashes a bit of, maybe goes to Brina and grabs the alchemy jug and splashes himself in the face with some cold water and sort of goes, "Oh, wow. Well, that was something. Just a sort of who else is there? Anyone else who's conscious? I mean, I guess short rest, like the
Yeah,
nobody
they're all
else is
conscious,
compelled
everyone else
to
in
be
the cave,
unconscious. Yeah. I get Brucon turns to Brina and says, "Well, that was quite something. Brina, tell me, did we really fight 3 terrifying magical old women earlier, or was that a drug-induced hallucination? I'm really not sure."
Nope, that definitely happened.
Excellent. Okay, good. Well,
Brucon, that is honey and mayonnaise in your beard.
Brucon sort of like gets a little bit of it, and I mean, actually, Brucon generally keeps his beard reasonably well trimmed, so I don't think he'd be able to kind of use it as a soup strain or anything, and sort of tries to look down and goes, well, that's going to be a problem. That's going to be a problem right there. Does Brina have prestidigitation?
I believe so, yes.
Brucon sort of like looks at her and
no,
says,
she doesn't!
No!
But I think, hang on, somebody has prestidigitation. Oh, no, not Leo.
I'm sure somebody had it.
I think
Neris has prestidigitation as
it's
her
Neris, yeah.
start thing,
Neris.
but she can do it
Yeah.
with no components and such.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah. But she can't do it from a couple of miles away. So I think Brucon will sort
Neris
of...
is just sitting at the bar. She's like, I feel the real need to make prestidigitation right now.
Yeah. Brucon just sort of goes, well, we'll figure something out, I'm sure. We could probably play it off as some sort of Manylands eccentricity, if anyone asks about it. Right. Leobrin, and
Yes.
actually, for that matter, Loralys, if you potentially might wish to join us. Would either of you be willing to accompany me to go and have a attempt to seek an audience with the cultural head of Herthir? Herthir's the city, right?
That's right.
Yeah. I'm really impressed at myself. I mean, some of these things I was reading off my notes, but several things I did just straight up remember. Yay me.
Yay you, and have some inspiration.
Already have it. Does
Give it to
anyone need...
somebody else.
Malar, have your inspiration
Malice
back.
uses inspiration.
May it work better for you next time. Yeah, anyway, Brucon's, would anyone be interested in seeking an audience with Dudra Denish with me, the cultural head of the city of Herthir? I feel like they might possibly have given me a bit of a standing invitation to go and meet with them, and might possibly have some useful, interesting information in relation to our number one suspect. What say you? That was Loralys and Leo was were the people being invited.
Did you invite everyone except Malar by the sounds of it?
Well, only on the basis that it's a social interaction. It's a somewhat superficial social interaction with someone who is in no way overtly religious and is coming at the end of a day when Malar has burned quite a few spell slots.
Oh, right.
That was the logic there.
Entirely fair. Loralys.
Can't hear you.
Oh, I think you're muted.
Sorry. Yep.
Yes.
Yay!
Dragonborn and no Dragonborn. Nobody knows me as anything else but a Dragonborn here.
I suppose that's up to you, really. What would you feel comfortable? What persona would you feel comfortable assuming? I'm not aware of any particular. I'm not suggesting that Dudra Denish is. Well, we thought it was possible that they were a suspect, but not high on the list. So I don't have a strong view. It seems to me that your appearance is your own in this particular instance.
Ooh, I'm trying to think whether or not it'd be smart to go by Future Danish in Dox or not. I'm not sure now. Because I can't remember if they have a good relationship or a rocky relationship, or if they were just like ambivalent to each other.
Do you want to make a history check?
Yes.
So you see how you can recall, because I'm sensing in and out of character both. I'm not sure.
8.
It makes sense that someone in the role that Dox had taken for themselves wouldn't necessarily have a huge number of like close links or strong, a lot of interactions with, the cultural head.
Yeah, because as a member of the Enforcers, you didn't really work directly with the heads.
It was mostly all the military
council.
sector.
Yeah, exactly. It was more to do with the black sector, which you would have had more of an interaction with. So the military head. That being said, your name would possibly be known. Because, I mean, you did get cast out quite famously from the Enforcers and from the city. So, do you give your real name? Do they, you don't know how they feel about you at this point.
I do have one suggestion. It is very much up to you whether or not you wish to take it. But we, at this point, have a... our names and faces are known across the city, as far as I can tell. Certainly, Dudra Denish is familiar with us. You could take on the persona of a member of the party who is not actually joining us. Say, for example, Neris, who has a certain degree of style and a reputation for fearsomeness. That would be an option, I would think.
Oh. And Brina puts up a very small gnomish grey hand. Well, if we're missing Neris, you could disguise yourself as Neris.
Sorry, am I still high? I feel like the same thing just happened twice with two different people. Am I okay? Brucon sort of like...
Sorry, have I missed somebody else suggesting exactly that?
That's literally what I just said.
Was that what you said? Sorry.
Literally what I just said. How did I not... Was I not audible? No, hang on, everyone else heard me say it, so...
I clearly wasn't paying attention.
Sorry, so that's totally fine. No, like, I clearly, like... You heard me say it, but you were focusing on something else.
I just, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that was quite funny. Anyway, yeah. So there's a suggestion.
She's going to change back into that lizard folk as before. It's like, I think I'll just go as your guard.
Okay, that makes total sense to me.
Well,
Leo,
your guide.
Sure, either works. Yeah, guide probably does work a little better. The thing we're famous for is fighting off a Hydra, so yeah, that's easier to explain. Leobrin, are you interested in joining for this? Entirely up to you, but you're.
Oh yes, I have a suggestion. What if you disguised yourself as Neris?
Brucon sort of goes, one moment, I'm obviously under par, reaches into his stuff, pulls out a hip flask and takes a hefty of something aggressively strong that he's saving for his sort of ongoing health, medicinal purposes, and just has a glug of that and sort of screws it up, puts it back up and says, "Oh yes, no, that's better already. I was too sober. That was obviously the problem." Right, yes. Excellent.
Shall
and
we?
Yes,
yes. We shall. Yes,
so,
I'm happy to tag along, of course.
Marvelous. All right.
But Mala, are you coming with us or?
Muted.
Guys, just leave your mics open. It's totally fine. Oh no, actually no, we're not getting anything from you. Has your mic died or something? Oh dear.
Can you hear us?
Yes, you can hear us.
Okay. All right.
Have you changed your mic out? Maybe your mic output's changed. You've got to go check something out.
He wants
Have
to
a little
walk
sleep.
to sleep.
Yeah.
He
5
wants
to
syllables.
Full
to
sandwich.
to go to sleep.
3 words.
Have a long rest.
So are you gonna?
First syllable. Sounds like
Are you gonna
For
go
a
back
week.
to the? Is he going back to the tavern?
The-
Malor's gonna go
the
back.
Reformation of the monarchy. I've got it. It's the Reformation of the monarchy.
Something
Okay,
about the
no, I
privileges
get it.
committee.
He wants
No,
to
no,
kill
okay.
all the monarchy. Jesus, man.
No, we get it. Okay.
By the
You
rivers of
are
Babylon.
sleeping,
A short rest.
and you want a sandwich.
No, long rest. DK, why don't you type into Discord?
Shh, don't
Yes,
give
you
him
can. Yes,
ideas.
or type into the chat on Twitch.
So I
but
could
either
see
way
the
works.
keyboard
But I
being
believe,
broken.
I
I'm
believe
taking
he's.
Rena with.
I believe
He's
that
taking
he's going back
Brina
to
with
the.
him.
He's taking
This is
Brina.
Brina.
Oh, the little one, Brina. Got it. So Brina and Malar are going to go back to the tavern. Okay, that sounds good. Go back to the bronze.
I was
okay.
stuck on like I thought it was like a Scooby Doo type sandwich where they make like a big sandwich, squish it down, and they're like, yeah.
He's probably going to go to eat at the tavern too, right? Anyway, what? Yeah, can't read lips, but I could read
We
that.
took advantage of the opportunity to walk away from whatever that was about.
Malar takes and Brina, so little and large, then decide to leave the cave and head back to Bronze Allergy. So Brina's like, we'll see you later then. And two of them make their escape. So that leaves Brucon, Loralys, and Leo, who are heading to the dock sector. I guess actually the 5 of you can walk together, and then Malar and Brina will peel off at the dock sector and head back. Okay, so Brucon, Loralys, and Leo are now going to explore the docks. Where did you want to start?
I mean, are there? What do we see surveying the harbour area?
Can you both make? It is dark, so can you both make perception checks, please? You both have. Does Loralys have dark vision?
I have dark vision.
No, I mean,
Loralys
not
no
anymore.
longer has dark vision.
I don't think Dragonborn even have. Oh no, because it might be a warlock thing. Got you.
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
It was
It's
a warlock.
thing.
It's a warlock thing. So that means Loralys you have
But
disadvantage.
Leo would have.
Yep, Leo.
But
does.
Leo would have night vision. Yeah.
He does. He's not
making it
very
just regular, I assume.
observant, though.
9.
Just a perception check. 9, 10 for Leo and Brucon.
One second. I think Brucon surveys the harbour, and yeah, Brucon's gonna kind of looks back and forth and says, it's hard to spot stuff right now, isn't it? I tell you what, I have something for this. Reaches into his pack, pulls out a little bag, sprinkles some white powder onto his onto the back of his hand, and goes, takes a line and ingests another dose of fallen stardust.
Oh, I forgot about the fallen stardust. Oh god. Okay. Yep. Do it.
Brucon's getting drunk, baby.
This because I seem to remember that yes, it does enhance your
grants
perception, doesn't it?
It
Potentially.
sure does. For 10
there
minutes, I
are-
have advantage. Oh
yeah.
yes.
Okay, you can do that and then
Oh,
take a
yes.
look. So go ahead
Yes.
and make a perception check with
So,
advantage.
I will make a perception check with advantage. Watch me watch me snake eyes this now. That's exactly what's about to happen.
Watch him whip. Watch him nay. Sorry.
A dirty 20. I'm glad I did that because the other roll would have been an 11.
All right. I'm just checking. Hang on. The forward stardust. Okay. Okay. So it's well lit. The docks with sconces and torchlight. Even at this time, where it is now night, there is no natural light remaining. In fact, it's just beyond dusk, so it's probably at its murkiest time. And It's a buzz of activity around a sort of ramshackle wooden tavern in front of you. It looks to be made of the same wood, in fact, as the piers themselves. The various jetties are also made of wood. It seems to be made of the same sort of thing. There seems to be quite a few rowdy dragonborn outside it, and of course the lizard folk, Johnny from before, who Brucon. I don't think you interacted with him so much, but you're
No,
aware of
I monk bullshitted my way
Yes.
clean past the dude.
You were jumping from building to building, but you, yeah.
Oh, nimbly bimbly from tree to
But
tree.
a lizard
Yeah.
folk with a longish, scraggly trench coat on, who seems to note. Oh no, God! Because we split it again, so it's Brucon, Leo, and Loralys, the three who really didn't interact with Johnny, but would notice Malar and Brina and sort of wave to them as they leave. You also note there is that the yacht. You don't see a pleasure vessel moored up. Only some small fishing liners and stuff like that. Nothing. No big ships in the dock that you can see. But you got a 20, correct, or over 20? Yes. So
20 exactly.
So sort of having a more panoramic view, swinging round back to where you came from along the beach, you can see there is a very large ship moored up towards the palace, and in fact. You recall this was the one that you, using your bowl, your very fancy singing bowl, you were able to see around on the deck of the ship when you sort of zoned in and enhanced your chi, your key. You were able to take a temporary view of that ship, and so you probably think that they probably put two and two together. Think that possibly it's the same ship. Could that be the pleasure liner? Who knows? It's possible. It seemed big enough for the job, but it is some way away from you. But yes, as I said, there's one tavern immediately in front of you. You gather there are a couple more further down the dock. As well as various fishing stalls and the like, but they all seem to be closed up for the day now.
Yeah, I was just making sure the notes were reflecting the key information. Brucon sort of looks back and forth and turns to Loralys and Leo and says, "Well, I don't know about you, but my attention has been caught most of all by the large, very imposing pleasure vessel that appears to be moored up yonder in direction of the palace. Anyone else spot anything?" Suggestive, indicative, in some way intriguing?
Everybody being closed up for the evening, if we're caught sneaking around, it'd be highly suspicious.
That's true, yes.
Do I remember we spoke of the prince teleported away, didn't he?
Yes.
That's right.
With some kind of he held some kind of pewter tankard. Did we have some sort of theory about it?
A bottle.
And I think Brina speculated about the origins of this object. I think she said something about possibly it could have come from. Speculated it could have maybe come from one of the taverns here. Would it be worth us seeing?
Certainly, yes. Let's, why not head into this tavern before us and ask about it. One moment. Oh no, Dox. Yeah, Loralys, excuse me. Or no, Dox. I should go back to calling you Dox now, shouldn't I?
In this form, it is Ibex.
Vibex.
Ibex.
Ibex. Can you spell that for me?
IBEX.
IBEX, okay.
Somebody's had their ibex.
I don't. It's an ibex is an actual animal.
Yeah.
Not that there's the problem with naming yourself that. It's just confusing me. Right, ibex. No, I think that's a good idea. Do you speak the local language?
Draconic, yes.
Yes, I don't speak that. I don't speak Draconic. Leo, I think, doesn't, but can. But it would involve a spell.
That's right. Yes.
So yeah, Ibex, thank you. Would you be willing to act as a translator?
Or if you like, Brucon, I could impart that ability onto you. I just need to touch you.
No, well, the thing is, Leobrin, if my understanding, I'm still getting to grips with how these things work, but my understanding is that you have only a limited supply of arcane energy that you can invest in these kinds of effects, and
Correct.
So maybe someone who speaks the language natively and doesn't need to expend arcane energies to talk to people and understand them would be the better person to take the lead, if that's all right with you, Ibex.
Very good.
I'm sure there are other better uses for your talents, Leo.
Yes,
Is all I'm getting at.
Yeah, well, of course.
Ibex, would that be all right with you?
Yes.
Okay, well then let's go get a drink, shall we?
Okay.
Okay, let's head into the pub.
So the two pit champions and their guides swagger into this bar, and immediately inside, it is a buzz. It is full of sailors and dock workers, mostly Dragonborn. There's a few kobolds scampering around as well as a few lizard folk. But yeah, a bit of a hodgepodge here, but all looking at not the most affluent bunch. It seems the drinks are cheap and so are the thrills. But it is incredibly crowded in here. As well as that, you've got some. You have some folks engaged in some kind of arm wrestling or other sort of physical bout in one corner, of which there is a mass of people sort of huddled around that, forming a ring to one side. But the way to the bar is relatively clear, and you can get to it and order drinks if you like. The barman, a lizard folk.
If I like. What do you mean, if you order drinks, if you like?
I mean, I'm giving you the option.
Obviously, Brucon strides up to the bar, reaches into a money pouch, produces. Oh, you said the drinks are cheap here, so we'll call it restrained and say 10 jade dragons. Slams on the bar and goes, "Drinks are on me."
The lizard folk, who has one eye in a reptilian yellow, the other in a more in a almost a tiny pupilled white eye. Nods to yes. Takes the that seems to be something they speak in common, at least. Yes, takes the money.
Oh, excellent.
And starts dispensing drinks. At the sort of
Brucon,
the flourish where you
makes eye contact with him and communicates silently that drinks are on me very much includes a drink for me.
Yes.
And kind of like pops himself up, I think, because Brucon's not that tall. I think in order to kind of nonchalantly lean on the bar, Brucon has to sort of like engage his core, and sort of like have one arm on the bar and have if from the barkeeper's perspective, Brucon is kind of idly leaning on the bar. Anyone stood behind can see that Brucon is dangling from the bar by his forearm, quite tense.
Nice flex. The rest of the other barflies are very quick on the uptake and immediately they start cheering and as soon as a drink is placed on the bar, the tankard is then swiped by one of them, and it takes a little while before you have the opportunity to grab one yourself, especially because of your compromised position at the bar. But you do observe that the
when you say a little while, do let me know when 10 minutes have elapsed from my bump.
It's less than 10 minutes. It's more like
good. Thank you.
More like 4 minutes by the time that you can actually grab your ale. And you observe that it's a standard pewter tankard. It's nothing, fairly unremarkable and mundane. And Leo, likewise, Loralys Ibex also get tankards, and Leo sort of nods to Loralys in disguise, as much like maybe similar, possibly. And that is as far as conversation has got so far. What else did you want to do after getting drinks?
When Brucon gets a moment, he sort of gestures to the innkeeper, the bar person, and sort of says, "Excuse me, my friend. How is your common?"
To the barkeep.
Yeah.
There's folks still like pouring another draft, and turns around and goes, "Yes." Puts another one down.
Right. Brucon turns to Dox and says, to Dox Ibex, and says, "Oh, Ibex, bit of a communication barrier here. Could you ask this fine fellow if he might know of any local dealers in arcane artifacts, or something like this tankard that the prince seemed to have about his person? I think I'm going to struggle to get through to him." Muted.
Yeah.
You got it.
She does a nice smile, kind of like a bit of an exaggerated bow, and turns to the barkeep and goes, "The outsider wants to have a portal. Do you know where you can get one?"
A portal, you say?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this matters. Pulls another drink. And his eyes just kind of flit round the bar.
If he were to pay you more, would you know then?
You can pay me all you like, but I don't know anything about that, and I would not want to be burned at the stake for anything. Another drink. Another drink.
Okay. He says he doesn't know.
Fair enough. Does he? Would Jack? Would you say that Brucon had a chance to even make an insight check to read the body language of this guy and get a sense of like that how reticent? I think Brucon's trying to kind of divine whether sort of like does he know someone who might is a reasonable question, or if he's kind of picked up that this guy's like no.
You're gonna have disadvantage because you can't understand the language, but
yeah, of course, yeah. Okay, well, let's have a pop just to see what information I'm working with. Oh, okay, 10 is the worst result of those two rolls.
I mean, he has very shifty, flitting eyes, but that's the only thing that's uncomfortable about him.
Okay, I think. Oh.
Sorry, I was just gonna ask. Can I like turn away from the bar and like look in the directions that his eyes went?
Yes, you can make a perception check. You don't have disadvantage in here; it's well lit.
So that's an 18.
An 18, yep. So you're kind of quietly sipping your pint and looking around. So no drunkenness taking effect as yet. One thing you do notice is there is a group in the corner around a table who don't engage in this sort of boisterous frivolity of most of the other patrons. This seems to be a lot more secretive. They're huddled around a table. One of them, upon seeing you looking, pulls their hood up over their heads. This one, a smooth-headed lizard folk, and whispers something. You know it's in Draconic. You don't catch exactly the contents of the conversation, but they promptly get up and start making their way to a back room.
Can I ask, Jack, would Brucon potentially be able to follow, like, if Dox, Ibex, etc. is turning to look at the rest of the room, doesn't feel like a huge reach for Brucon to follow that and maybe pick up, obviously wouldn't understand it, but hear the words that are used? Not
at this stage, because this is happening as you're checking out the barkeep, when you're trying to get a read on the barkeep and what he's doing. That's when Loralys will look round and follow the eye line while you're sort of ruminating on him.
For clarity, I don't mind that answer, but just for clarity, what Brucon was doing was trying to read the barkeeper's answer to Dox's question.
I think.
So
I
if
think
Dox in
once-
response to
yeah,
that question turns to look,
Yeah.
then
You can. I
Brucon
tell you what
wouldn't.
you can do. What's Brucon's passive perception?
While Brucon is on Fallen Stardust, it's 20.
Ah, excellent. So I would say that okay, that's enough to notice Dox looking off in a direction, and then you can subsequently make a perception check to see what she's looking.
Okay. I don't mind making it with not with advantage to reflect that I'm trying to like overhear something in a language I don't speak. I'm just trying to see if
that
Brucon...
will cancel out the disadvantage. So yeah, straight roll. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Okay, let's see what we got here. 14.
Yeah. You don't. With a 14, you don't. I think, given everything that's happening at the bar, you don't even
Too much to
catch
filter out.
the
Yeah,
noise
no worries.
of
Worth a
the
punt.
whispering. But you do notice that this group suddenly stand up from their table and start moving off, and that's in the direction Loralys Ibex has been looking.
Okay. Brucon turns to Ibex and sort of says, "We think there's something there then, maybe?"
Sorry, I was just checking to see if she. I couldn't remember whether or not she spoke Draconic. Not Draconic, Dwarvish. And I was like, "Ooh, does she? Does she?" No, she doesn't.
Okay.
Um,
Do you speak Gnomish? Because I also speak Gnomish.
speak Orcish.
Nah, no. Okay. Anyway, yeah.
Parlez-vous
In common,
français?
Brucon turns to your character and asks, "Yeah, what?"
Yeah. So she's just gonna be maybe.
Okay. Here's an idea. If you follow after them,
Mhm.
I'll split off. I'll shadow you, just in case if they looked to me like the shifty type. So maybe if I'll be no use to you in a social interaction, but I can be a good sort of hidden backup in case things go south. So I'll shadow you, and you go and see if if they've got anything interesting to tell us. Is that all right?
Yes.
Perfect. Leo, my suggestion is you go with our friend here, but if you feel confident in your sneaking abilities, then you're welcome to try and accompany me on the shadow team.
No, I'll stick with
Ibex.
this one.
Yes. Yeah. She also goes by many names. Okay, perfect. Well, let's all right, team, break. And yeah, Brucon's gonna find another exit, or wait, kind of try and find a good opportunity to leave the building without it being super obvious that he's doing it, and chart a more oblique but stealthier course to follow these people, including, if necessary, clambering over boats and stuff, but basically not just following directly in their footsteps.
Well, it looks like they went into a back room in the tavern. So...
Oh, right. Sorry, I thought they'd left and gone elsewhere. Okay. All right. Well, in that case, Brucon's going to try and sneak, around the side or over the top, and
you can try and sidle up to the door, certainly. So, would you make a stealth check?
I will make a stealth check.
While he's doing that, Loralys, what are you just waiting at the bar? What's your plan?
So Brucon is going outside to find the room on the outside, isn't he? Yeah. Okay, so Loralys would have... how lively is it inside the pub?
Since everyone had a free drink bought for them.
It's lively. It's raucous.
It's lively. Okay.
It's the raucous
so
caucus.
I love that. That's great.
So she's going to be like, she's going to match the energy levels of everybody else, and like, what?
Leo's going to follow suit with you, except for he's very much trying to make sure nobody spills any drinks on his lovely cloak of many fashions, or anything else for that matter. Or the
she's going to drunkenly find a wall to lean on, which happens to be the wall next to the door of the back room.
Keeping it in sight, yeah. And keeping close to it, yeah, cool.
So hopefully she can hear what's going on.
Sure. Brucon, the door appears to be locked. What was your stealth check?
Stealth check was an 18.
18. So yeah, you can muddle your way through. It's not hard because of how busy and raucous it is in here. But yes,
Sure.
the door appears to be locked to the back room.
Okie dokie. If Brucon puts his ear to the... Can Brucon try and detect if there's any audible activity taking place on the other side of the door?
You can have a listen, sure. Make a perception check, and you can still have advantage. Oh well, yeah, have advantage. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, you let me know when the drugs have worn off.
Sure, when the drugs don't work.
Okay, I'm really glad I rolled that with advantage because one of those rolls was a natty 1, but the other one added up to a 15.
15. Okay, so with a 15, just enough to hear on the other side of the door, you hear another door being opened and closed. So the close is quite forcefully, almost like it's dropped closed. Possibly a trapdoor.
Sorry. Just to check, because I'd suggested splitting up when I was under a mistaken impression about where these people had gone. Are Ibex and Leo in eyesight?
Yes.
Can I? Okay. Brucon kind of like turns to them and sort of goes, "I think there's a trap door. I think they've gone down the trap door." And will try for a sleight of hand to try and jimmy the door open, the unlock the door in some capacity.
Okie dokie. It's a fairly rudimentary door, so.
Okay, I think just pull out a dagger and try, to kind of like fairly brute force the mechanism, not trying anything super fancy with lockpicks and stuff.
So I would say for this, it's more of an athletics check.
That's fine. Fine with me. My bonus is better.
With disadvantage, just because it's quite a fiddly job, and to try and do so unnoticed is going to be difficult. So I think that's fair enough.
Could I take inspiration to cancel out that disadvantage?
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah.
I'm burning my inspiration. I will make a straight athletics, you say?
Yes.
Alrighty, here we go.
Oh no, that is the face of a victor.
Natural 1. That's not the face of a victor at all.
Oh, sorry, so sarcastic. Sorry, I do apologise. So with that, obviously because of the bump that you've had, you're very hyper focused on jimmying open this door with the dagger. Like, I can do so really quietly and stealthily, and no one will know. He basically shouts across the bar, and then.
How about we say that like that's, and then the drugs wear off.
The drugs wear off. The blade snaps as the door flies open.
Oh, okay.
So the door opens, but you've broken the blade as well, and the drugs now wear off, and you need to make the saving throw.
Constitution save, yeah. It is Constitution. It's only DC 10. So
actually, I think the DC's gone up, hasn't it? Because you've done it before.
Oh, sorry. Yes, yeah. Increasing by 1 each time, so it is now 11.
Yeah.
Thank you for pulling me
Gotta
up there.
keep you honest with your drugs.
Absolutely. It's very important to be extremely honest where drugs are concerned. That is the most important thing. Okay, here we go. Oh, so my Brucon's bonus to Constitution is +4. I just rolled a 7, which means that I
just inched in there.
Just
a note, because this is a homebrew. I was going to say item, but it's a substance. A homebrew hallucinogen substance, and failure would result in short-term madness, and epic failure would result in a lot of psychic damage. And other horrible effects. So it comes with risk. But I think
with risk.
I think because you passed the. And it's a check rather than when the effect wears off, the user will have to make a DC 15 Wisdom saving throw or become addicted.
Oh,
but
okay.
I think you failed that already, and you are addicted to the substance. I think you failed that last time you took it.
Yep.
So
correct.
For subsequent uses, it requires a DC 11 now Constitution check, and that's the one you've just passed. Okay, so just to keep everyone honest and we're all on the same page. Cool.
Yep,
so
cool.
You're okay. The effects have worn off, but also you've basically very openly broken down a door.
Mm-hmm.
I have removed one of the daggers from my inventory, and I have smashed open the door.
And
Ibex
Dox,
is gonna
Ibex, sorry,
rush
go ahead.
over and be like, Mr. Brucon, the bathroom is not that way.
Make a deception
Oh,
check.
Can I get the help? Brucon's response to that is, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm new here. The help
That was a
give the help action."
13.
Well, I think you can try to help, which will mitigate the disadvantage from the from the fact that you have just broken into that door quite openly. You've got a broken blade shaft in your hand. So a straight roll. What did you get?
13.
13.
Could be worse.
Barkeep shouts over, "Hey, what is going on here?" in Draconic. What is going on here? And you see some muscle-bound Dragonborn immediately start making their way over to you. They just look like they could be bouncers, or they don't look like part of any particular organisation, but possibly working for the pub.
Brucon's
This outsider's... He's addicted to some dust, and he's just trying to get more. He's just had his last batch.
Brucon will sort of, exaggerately sort of sway and look spaced out and say, "Terribly sorry for the inconvenience, and here for your trouble." And Palm will say, "If you're going to bribe people, go big or go home. 10 jade dragons each to the bouncers."
Okay. I'm gonna say Brucon make a deception check, and Ibex make a persuasion check.
Okie dokie. Oh god, it's deception. All right, here we go.
17.
17 and
Natural 20.
natural 20. Oh wait, hang on. I do still have that
So
sound
22.
22 and a 17. All right. The two bouncers look at each other. One of them swipes the money from your hand. The other one goes to push you over. So this would be a contested shove or grapple check. So athletics or acrobatics for you, Brucon, to try and avoid being pushed over.
Well, it's going to be acrobatics, but because of my dwarven nimbleness, I'm also going to make it with advantage, because you said the magical grapple word.
I did indeed.
Jesus. Okay, neither of those rolls were great, but the result we come away with is a 17.
Okay, that's better than me. So they go to shove you, and you move out the way.
Yeah, I make it like a kind of a tipsy sway. Hey, I know how to do a tipsy sway, so I make a very natural movement as part of my drunken master sort of routine. But yeah, I make it look like just a whoops.
But in the way that when you twist to kind of move out of the way, you do notice in that room not only the trapdoor that you heard, but a scrap of paper, a parchment by that door, just lying. There's some writing on it you can see. It doesn't appear to be in a language you can read, but there's something on it.
I would like to burn a key point for Step of the Wind, unorthodox use of Step of the Wind outside of combat. I would like to burn a key point for Step of the Wind to increase my speed and at the very and zip over to grab and pocket the paper before zipping back to and then immediately start helping this can we say that when I do the tipsy sway effect, the bouncer that went to shove me lost his footing a little bit, and then Brucon kind of like, and then come back and sort of overtly help him back up, and sort of make a big show of that.
You can for Hawir, as you zip away, even with Step of the Wind, because you're using it for not for disengage, for dash, right? Or
dash, correct? Yeah.
Okay, both of the bouncers try to take a swipe at you. They both miss, and they both sort of lose their footing a bit. You zip away and then zip back, and then you can be like, and then you do it.
Oh, so sorry, gentlemen. Okay.
And they just like look from one to the other, and Ibex, and just shrug.
I got tired to look after the big champions. It's not been a fun day.
They kind of spit on the floor and then go back to what they were doing. One of them closing the door, making sure that the door is now closed again, or as close as it can be, considering you've broken the lock.
Yeah. Okay, but I did break the lock, so I'm going to wait for an opportune moment. Nod to the Changeling, and apologies, but Ibex. It's right now they're Ibex. To Ibex and Leo, and I think it's this is proving a costly excursion, but if it uncovers a good lead, then it's worth it, right?
Yeah.
And another 10 J Dragons on the bar and going another round, courtesy of the pit champions.
The bar patrons start cheering again, but the barkeep is a bit more reserved this time. Just don't go breaking any more locks, he says in Draconic.
He says he might be on your last warning.
They always say that, but there's always more last warnings.
Not here. There is.
Could we maybe not break any more locks, please? I'll find us a table. And Leo goes to the now abandoned table.
Maybe if you need locks picking, let me know.
Well, all right. Tell you what. Let's go and have a seat, and you can tell me what you make of this. And Brucon produces the piece of paper.
Okay. Just grabs a piece of paper and goes straight to the table. She doesn't look at it yet.
Yeah. I'm doing it at the table.
Okay.
Just sit at the table and then produce the, somewhat subtly slide the piece of paper over to you.
Slide the piece of paper onto the table. I mean, it's a piece of parchment, and it's a shady tavern. This kind of exchange happens all the time. You just fit in with the clientele here. Okay, Ibex, you pick up, or Loralys, Loralys. Let's use the real name because we know the real name of the character. Loralys, you pick up the slip of paper. It is written in Draconic in red ink. Upon it says, "It is time. Ushtag will rise again."
Ushtag?
Yes.
Does Loralys, the artist currently known as Ibex but formerly known as Loralys, say Ushtag out loud?
Are you reading this?
No,
aloud,
that was me asking. That was me
Go.
me as Jess asking. That's what you said, right?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Hold on. Do I know who Ushtag is?
Yes. As you've lived in the Dragonborn Kingdom for a while, you'll know
Artifacts
of
of Ushtag.
You know of actually, as an enforcer, you probably know of the artifacts of Ushtag, and you also know of the 7 dragon gods, of which Ushtag the Deceiver was one, the great red dragon.
Yes.
And you also know it's the only one. Followers of Ushtag were cast out of Herthir, and it was outlawed to worship Ushtag in the entirety of the Dragonborn Kingdom after after followers of Ushtag tried to overthrow the Dragonborn Kingdom many years ago.
So you'd see Lars's face just get very solemn in her lizard folk form. And she'll say to Brucon, "You've got to get this to the king."
What does it say?
It talks about a coming of an evil god.
And another one. First Ushtag, and now this one. They're breeding. I swear. All right, very well.
So many evil gods.
There's so many evil gods. It's unreal. All right, very well. What's the name of this evil god? Out of just so we know what we do. Oh, it's the same one.
Wait.
Right.
Wait, but if it's Ushtag, then doesn't that mean? Isn't that?
That's the Red Mages. Yeah, that's the Red Mages.
At this point, we cut to. We're going to cut cinematically over to after that revelation. Dum dum dum. We're going to cut over to Malar and Brina as you two have made your way. You've signed in and got through the gate into the Bronze Sector, and you're heading back to Bronzalurgy. Just as you enter and see Seth and Neris at the bar. Over to you.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes!
Okay.
Oh, hooray, he's back.
That's always a good start. I mean, Malar wasn't going to do much, but if Seth and Neris are coming back in, Oh, it's good to see you both again. See, Mr. Seth played the dutiful role of protector. Not that you need it, Miss Neris. Are you well, Miss Neris? Not you, Seth. I don't care about you.
Neris.
And
Oh, you could see him take that blow in his soul. Ooh.
Yeah, he gives a little wink to Seth.
Neris looks from eyes Malar and then Seth, and then back to Malar, and a faint grin just creaks onto her face, just slips into her face, breaks the alabaster slightly, and she just nods. I'm fine.
We previously said in the pit in the ground, bad juju, Malar picked up on this, but also noticed that when Seth was away, it felt better. Is he getting any vibe that
There's something. There's a shadow over Seth, not literally, but you feel the presence of something dark and broody over Seth.
But can we not give the Seth sense to someone else, like Brucon? He wouldn't give a shit.
It's almost as if the eight are trying to guide Malar in some way.
It's almost. To be fair, we've been doing it for the entire campaign, so it's nothing new.
I know. I just
throwing a
want
little
the
shade
eight to
on
fuck
Seth
off.
there, literally.
Malar will offer to buy people a round of drinks if they want it. But we'll quickly make his excuse, like after a drink, after a little catch up, we'll make his excuses and head off to his room.
Sure.
But gets up, leaves the table, goes out up to a doorway, and just sort of rests on the doorway and casts. Because I got 1 or 2 first level spell slots. Detect magic.
Okay.
And just looks back at Seth. What do I see?
Okay. So you sense. I'm gonna have to dig up his character sheet. You sense. You would see all the magic items of which Seth has on his person with that spell. There is a slightly necromantic energy coming from Seth generally as well. But yes, the perfectly normal scimitar of speed emanates a lot of this voidly darkness of possibly necromantic or otherwise energy.
Okay, Malar goes to bed.
As you turn to leave, your elephantine ears prick up, hearing distant screams. The rest of you in the bar also hear the screams as well, coming from outside. It seems to be some distance away, but it's a crowd of people screaming and running.
Well, Malar goes back to the table, sort of taps his hand on the table, and says, "Oh, now come on, let's go inspect this." Goes out to see what the commotion is.
I was having a good drink.
So Malar is going to head outside and see what's going on. Seth, are you joining, or are you staying at the bar?
A very pouty follow of following Scimitar out, dragging him on the floor. It's like, fine, let's go kill it.
Neris and Brina likewise sort of hesitantly turn around. Well, Neris hesitantly, Brina very keenly heads outside with Malar. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, me and Neris have been drinking for a while. We thought it was bedtime.
That's a good point. Seth and Neris would probably need to make constitution checks at this point for being drunk. Oh my god, natural 1 for Neris. Neris is drunk.
10. Oh, plus... Is it just con check?
Yeah.
11.
No, you're okay, Seth. You're all right. You're holding your liquor, but Neris is not in a good state. She's been drinking heavily, and she goes to leave and then just kind of stumbles and then has to reach out to the bar to steady herself. She goes, I'll just wait here. So the three of you can then go out the front door and you see...
As we're leaving, I'm just like, don't get kidnapped. Good. Yeah, don't do that.
I won't go far. I'll be here. The three of you head out the front, and you're met with the sight of further down the street, people are pouring out of the gold sector, being pursued by what looks to be shambling corpses of Dragonborn. Hundreds of them pouring out of the streets from the gold sector.
I'm sorry, hundreds?
Hundreds. There are hundreds of people. There are lots of people, and there are lots of undead amongst them. Undead Dragonborn roaming amongst them.
I'm sobered up.
Are we talking like Day of the Dead shambling, or slightly more 28 days later, much more capable zombie undead?
Are they runners?
There are a mixture of the two. There are some shambling.
Fuck.
There are some shambling slowly, and there are some much faster ones in the pack, varying states of decay. And that is where we're going to leave things for today's session. I finally remember what my final shameless plug was.
We hang.
We've got another cliffhanger.
Incredible.
And just in time, our final shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
Along with that, dun dun dun, zombies in the streets. The final one was meant to be, of course, the announcement of our next session. Because due to scheduling, our usual issue, really, our usual pattern is every 2 weeks we would have a campaign game. Unfortunately, this week we won't. So our next one won't be in 2 weeks' time. It will be in 3 weeks' time, I believe, on April the 12th. The 12th of April, in 3 weeks' time, will be our next session. In the meantime, however, we do have, and I should have plugged this at the top, but our interview series, our fireside chats, A Slice of Dice, our newest one with Jeff went up last week. We should have another one, hopefully going up this time next week, depending on if I get the time to edit it, as I've got a couple of interviews lined up for tomorrow, including one with our very own Angelique. Our very own Angelique will be doing an interview with me tomorrow, so I should hopefully have that edited in the coming weeks. And I'll also be talking to Kim, who is not only an avid TTRPG player, but she's also a TTRPG creator, having written many books and campaign things. She's written a lot of great content for D&D 5e and other systems as well. So I think that's going to be really fun to talk to her about her experiences. So those should be coming up in the next few weeks. We'll be back with a live stream in 3 weeks' time. Until then, whatever you're doing, take care and stay safe and keep gaming. Bye.